I wish you guys the best with your Yum Yum podcast.
Yum, yum.
Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Ryan.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad you still want me here.
We all want you here. How are you doing, Rachel?
I could be better.
What? How could that be? We watched an explosive season premiere of television.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Rachel feels differently today. We'll have to find out here on Yum Yum Podcast, the only podcast in the universe out there named after an amazing moment from Star Trek Discovery.
Oh.
I don't need to clarify anymore. We're the only one named after an amazing moment, because there's only one amazing moment from Star Trek Discovery, and that's the Yum Yum moment in which a character was asked the question, would you like to kill someone? And the other person in the room licked their lips, threw
there
their
were other
hair
people
back.
too.
No, it was just them two. Just them two. Incorrect. It was just them.
Yeah, but you also thought...
I'm correct on this.
You also...
As I am about her licking her lips, throwing her hair back, and saying yum yum as the answer to this simple question. And it sparked something in us, the desire to talk about episodes of science fiction television one at a time. We've covered Star Trek Discovery, we've covered Babylon 5, we've covered Space Above and Beyond, we've covered The Expanse, we've covered a whole wide array of science fiction television, and now we are going through Killjoys, the series about a ragtag group of bounty hunters who are now embroiled in an alien war and conspiracy. I am coming at this from a rewatch perspective, and Rachel, you are coming at this from a first-time perspective. You've not seen this show before, and so you are brand new to season 3 of Killjoys.
Yes, I am. And I'm scared. I'm scared of this season.
Why are you so scared?
Because I really care about these characters, and they're just going to be in danger the whole time.
That's drama. That's television, baby. That's what we're here for. They're no longer taking odd jobs, as this episode liked to point out. They're now fighting alien foes. There's a war that they're waging and that they're having to defend the homeland from. Oh, it's gotten bigger and crazier already. Rachel, what was the season premiere? What happened? What was it called?
Boondoggie. And my summary, not IMDb's, is Dutch is starting a war, but she needs some supplies first. Meanwhile, Johnny gets a finger banger.
We love to take note of a trait of Killjoys that became very apparent early on in the watching of it.
And it was very apparent in this episode from the start too.
The use of bitch.
/ bitches.
And every
But you
episode
don't
except for
count
one.
bitching.
I don't count bitching. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. You're a bitch, but when you're bitching, it's different. So, they dropped a big amount. This is season finale level amount. This is 6, half a dozen bitches. The first line of this episode was dropping a bitch. Lucy got to say bitch. Everyone had a little bitch go in this episode, and it was absolutely joyous. But I have to give it to the fact that the first line was Neil bitch to Dutch from an evil Holland. So I thought that was just perfection. But Rachel, you're keeping track of something very important as well.
Oh no, it is not important in the least. It feels like a show that should have more nut shots. Like, it goes with the sensibilities of the show. I've been very excited the very few times that they have utilized them. We get a headbutt.
2.
But no nut shots. It's been 9 episodes since the last nut shot.
I hope one day that this show not only brings back kicking people in the genitals just so that you can bring this all together,
They won't do a cunt punt.
but I hope that they kick a woman in the genitals too, for equality's sake. Hey, if they do it at least once, it will be like a quarter amount of times of the show that they did it. So there you go. This series, Killjoys, for those who have not seen the show before, I mean, you clearly should. Why are you listening to a Season 3 premiere discussion from us? But if you're first-timers, don't worry. We'll go through this as...
Maybe they're Spotify's auto-playing
Yeah, that's
podcast.
it. Maybe you've been found in the algorithm. You've been found, not us. The Killjoys is a very humorous show. It definitely has its tongue firmly planted in its cheek. It can be very serious as well. And this episode had a lot of funny things going on. There was a lot of quips. There was just a lot of humorous situations that the people found themselves in. And I am wanting to know for you, Rachel, what was your yum laugh of the episode? What was the thing that made you smile, made you chuckle, made you guffaw, made you look back at this episode and say, now that was a funny bit?
I didn't note down the exact wording, but when they're in the Royal with Turin and Dutch is just like, well, we've got to kill her. And I guess her whole team. And he's just like, whoa. Calm down. He has a turn of phrase, but I'm like, want to say murder Betty, and I'm like,
no, Barbie.
Why?
You have it in the notes. This is the confusing part.
I forgot that they were linked. Why did I do that?
I don't know. Your brain has been infected by the goo, I think, is what's happening.
Oh, no, I would have more intelligence if that was the case.
Oh, that's it. There you go.
Proves that I'm still human.
That's it. You know what a Barbie is.
I'm too dumb to be Helen.
That's it. That's correct. So, I also enjoyed that moment. Turin was back, and he had many great lines.
Haircut.
They made the joke about him having a haircut. That got a good smile out of me. But I have to say, Fancy Lee throwing a boomerang, and you get that shot of the characters looking in awe of this boomerang flying around. That was the laugh out loud moment for me, was that shot itself, as well as Fancy bragging about how this is his own invention. I just like having a visual gag.
Another moment that I did really enjoy was like the cross-cutting of the interrogations near the end of the episode, and the Helen lady asking Pri and Alvis, what are you doing with them? And them both being like, yeah, what are we doing with them?
You're a bartender and you're a monk. What the fuck are you guys doing here? Yeah, this is a great point. We're weird characters to have in this scenario, but we're part of the cast, so I guess we're here. A lot of meta-ness to be had, a lot of zaniness, which must mean that Michelle Lovretta wrote this episode.
And boy, do you feel it in the pacing.
We have now come to understand what a Michelle Lovretta script is. It is one that is jam-packed. They are tightly wound up. Everything just keeps moving. And there's a certain aggressiveness to the humor itself. And this episode had all of it in spades, but you're forgiving of it, or you accept it because you want that in a premiere. You want the start of your season to come
hit the ground running.
Come out with bang.
Yeah. And each of the premieres has had that.
And she does not forget to have moments of characters connecting and talking to one another. It's not all just running and gunning and action and quipping.
Things are tended to.
And we have the returning director of this series, the one who is going to be the mainstay of the show. This is his third appearance directing, and he will be back more this season, I know. Stefan is back, baby. And what did you think of his style?
It's just what I expect now, because it feels like the best of the directors that we had before him, And I feel like he's really found how his directorial voice works within the show. So there's little moments of flair, but everything is cohesive. It feels natural, even in the way that it is hyper stylized at points.
I want to praise with this episode. This just comes into the production as a whole rather than just specifically the direction and the writing. But we get a bunch of different locations in this episode, a lot of different color palettes, a lot of different aesthetics. But also, this story in particular is dealing with the hack mods are involved, and they made a great creative choice, I think, to have the hack mods be primarily played by people with disabilities or limb differences, and having them play these cybernetic beings, having them use a lot of them, it seems like their own prosthetics or real life prosthetics at least, but not a lot of the prosthetics are sci-fi-ified. Some of them are, some of them aren't. And I just thought it was really great to see a bunch of performers who do have this that we don't get to see in a lot of contexts in television. And we have an entire storyline where we have a group of people, marginalized people as well, and they came in and the production said, let's hire a bunch of people with actual like limb differences and disabilities and have them play these characters, which is an allegory as well, these characters, the hack mods, for people with disabilities or for people who are marginalized, for people who are othered. And it made me think of how in The Expanse, only in the first couple of episodes did they hire people with gigantism and things like that for belters, and then they stopped doing that, which I was very disappointed that they stopped doing that. This is a different case where Killjoys started doing something rather than they started out doing it. This is something that they're halfway through the show now, and they said, hey, let's do this. And I commend them for that. It was something that I had forgotten. And so when coming back to it, I looked up and was like, oh, that's right. Yeah, they did start doing this. It's really neat.
Yeah, it is a choice that I really appreciate as well.
When's the last time someone took a good look at your mods, girl?
When they bought me a beer and made me feel pretty.
Thought so. In the chair.
What did you think of the episode overall? You gave us a very ominous beginning, so it sounds like maybe this one didn't work for you. Are you doing a bait and switch?
It's mostly a bait and switch because I just feel like I am giving nothing but yum-yums to Killjoys lately, and I'm worried that that's getting boring. Because I'm so used to doing bad shows or like mixed bags, and like even when we were going through Babylon 5, a show that I absolutely adore, it got stinkers.
Don't worry. This next episode is episode 2 of a season, and that's been track record the stinker episodes. So don't worry.
True. Like I'm not saying that we won't, but at the moment we're in a really good stretch of Killjoys, in my opinion. And I did really enjoy this episode. It did tip over into being like, Michelle, calm the fuck down. And then it did actually calm down, and it kind of leveled out. But then the end of the episode just kept on ending.
It did have that problem of you could end here. No. You got to do one more thing. That you can end here. No.
We got to set up this. And this and this, and we've got to do this bit now. So we've got to do that bit and that bit and. Oh, that's not a big enough ending, so end this. And it's just like, okay, I respect the choices, but I want to be done. I want to be able to process, not given more.
What I absolutely adore about this episode, and we're going to talk about it in depth more, but I like that within 45 minutes or so, we can introduce new characters, give them a fully realized little journey and arc and development, and then end the episode. We meet this new person here, Pippin. At the beginning of the episode, he's just an arrogant son of a bitch, and within this short amount of time, we give him so many layers, so many nuances, and you feel so differently about him by the end, and then that's it. We're moving on, and it's just this dumbfounding thing to say, but so many of sci-fi show contemporaries of Killjoys at that time, or even shows nowadays, really lack that strength in particular. And so when you see an episode that does it, it feels like a breath of fresh air, even though it was the standard.
It's something that particularly impresses you. You really appreciate it when they take time to do those things and when it doesn't feel like it's taking away from something else. It's just adding to the show, adding to the texture, adding to the details, adding to the world.
There's a lot of plot elements at play in the episode, and there's a lot of action in this one in particular. Killjoys is an action-heavy series, and you and I love science fiction, but a part of the deal with a lot of science fiction TV is you're going to have to watch a lot of fist fights and kung fu fights and flips and dodges and ducks and weaves for no real reason. It's just what it is. Star Trek does it so much for really no benefit.
They can't afford to do a battle in space every time.
Every time. Yeah. And it happens a lot in science fiction television. It also feels like often it fills up time. And Killjoys, for all I'm saying right there, I don't mind the action in Killjoys because I feel like it is in tune with what this series is about. It's following through on what their job is and what the show promised itself to be. And this episode does something very clever and very smart, which is each action set piece is different to one another. They're in different locations. You've got different styles to it, different shot compositions, different direction, different tones to the fight. Sometimes they're serious, sometimes they're silly, sometimes they're sexy, sometimes they're very much not so. And I really liked the action in this. And with a premiere as well, with an opening of a season, action is to be expected. And so they don't hold back on it in this.
No, it's just another way that a Love Letter episode is jam-packed. I really appreciated the action in this episode. And it is one where I felt the music worked really well with each of the ones that they selected, which is another way that each sequence is distinct from the others. Like that, the background to it is part of that atmosphere that the show builds up.
I like the subversion of expectations for some of the fights as well. When Johnny is chasing after that one hack mod and it's a trap, and the other person, the other evil hack mod / Hullen, gets Ollie and rips off the arm, then Johnny appears and kills that guy. Like, that was a nice little subversion of expectations there and, like, ended the fight real quickly. But then Dutch in a spa fighting a bunch of dudes, whipping them with towels and stuff. When you say that aloud, you're expecting it to be a lot more steamy and sexy and tantalizing and objectifying.
Awkward and uncomfortable looking. Like, and
she's wearing, like, fairly practical clothes. Like, it's not, like, too revealing. It's not like ogling her. The camera's not like up in her.
Because I think her and Davin are wearing like the uniform. They're not pretending to be patrons. So I also like that choice of it not being a hypersexual outfit for
Dutch,
the female staff.
While with Davin, the arms are out. And you said it when we were watching it, doing our reaction. You had to pause and say, I'm sorry, I have to admire those arms. And it was almost like Michelle Lovretta was in the room with us when you said that. It was like she was here. Because let's be real. This show sexualizes everyone, but it sexualizes the men the most.
Oh, yeah.
And isn't that just a nice change of pace from the science fiction that we usually get?
Yes, it is. I appreciate being pandered to. I also want to commend some of these action scenes in particular from this episode for giving us character moments within the action. Like the sauna, hot springs action scene, fight scene, where Dutch is going up against a couple of bodyguards, and then Davin has to come in and help her. But
the patrons that are walking outside, like, what's going on here?
And it's like, new treatment.
Very painful.
Mm-hmm. But in the background of a bunch of these shots, we have a new character. One that we've seen and know very little about. He's blabbering when Dutch comes in and
he's clearly the head honcho in the room,
Yeah.
but he's like a little fuck boy. You can tell by his hair and just like the way he's like slouching back. He's just immediate.
Yes.
Within 1 second, you know, oh, this is a rich fuck boy.
Yeah, you know, you get the vibe. It's done. It's dusted. But they include him in the back of some shots, just like watching this fight happen, just being like, oh.
And being disappointed at several times as well.
Like, come on, my guys. You're getting your asses kicked.
And it's a nice piece of showing us something that will eventually be told about, because this character, Pippin, the mouth, is revealed to be a con man. He's revealed to be a smuggler, a man who knows people, who knows other people, who knows other people. He's the intel man. And at the beginning, he's trying to play up like that he's just this rich, ignorant piece of trash. But in the background of this fight, with all the things we're mentioning, it is subtle little bits of telling you that he is not that. He is someone that knows how the score is settled, and he's playing up that he is this ignorant little rich boy. And I like that. That's a tip-off.
You know who I am. Okay, I don't need to do that.
Okay, look, if you're planning on arresting me, good luck. My family's lawyers will have me out in a day.
Your family's lawyers will never find your body.
Okay, that's good. I like a good negotiator. Very strong approach.
I enjoyed how it is a very similar thing that we've seen Killjoys do, of bringing somebody in who is deceptive in a way, but like you also know that they're deceiving them. Like the duality and the duplicity of the people that they encounter being a continuing theme in Killjoys, but not feeling repetitive.
There's a certain patheticness to his character that is actually sympathetic or captivating, because he wants to be this high level sophisticated criminal, but he's such a
dweeb,
selfish dumbass. He is so stupid that Dutch makes a whole plan that banks on him being such a blabbermouth idiot that they can succeed in what they need to do, hoping that he will leak the information because he's just that much of an unreliable person. And it works. And you can tell, like, he loathes that, or that he's ashamed of that, or like he tries to make it like water off of his back, but know it sticks.
It stings. The sting is there.
He's very humorous. I very much enjoyed the classic gag of Dutch giving him the motivating speech of, hey, you could help us. We're fighting this war against this alien species, and we need people like you to stand up and rise and do the correct thing. Are you in? And just him saying, no. Just immediately rejecting it. Nope, I'm not involved. Don't get me involved in this.
I don't want it. No part of it. Fuck right off. And the way that she deals with that, and the way that his perspective is by the end of the episode, feels authentic.
What is also great about Pippin as a character is he is from the criminal world. He's from the black market world. He's from the dark underbelly world. While a lot of the people that they rely on or that they have as resources are much more noble or from higher authority, whether they're from the rack or they're former crims with connections like Pre. But you look at Pre and you don't question his integrity at all. But Pippin, this is the type of thing that you need to make the series still feel fresh, is what other people can they make allies or make friends with? And they're law enforcement, they're people who go around hunting bounties for people like Pippin, and now they're having to blur that line a bit and say, hey, we're going to use you. We're going to have you in our back pocket here. And I like that. I think that is so great. And it's just a character archetype that I love to see, of just the slimy, motor mouth, Weasley turncoat crim that you have in your back pocket, and you just don't know where they're going to land, but you hope
you do love
just
a turncoat.
Yeah, because in this episode, he's willing to betray them at several points, but he doesn't. But he's willing to. That's the fun part.
Yeah. It's like, what's the best play? I'm going to make the best play for me at this moment. Is it to fuck you over? Oh, no, I guess I won't then. But the potential is there, and you get the sense that he might come around, he might not. And either way, you trust Dutch to figure it out and to work with the ball that's in her court.
Fantastic performance as well from the actor. Atticus Mitchell, I do believe is his name. We've seen him before. He was in The Expanse. He was in a couple of episodes of The Expanse. You may remember this. He was a Martian Marine that got captured by the Rocinante crew, and he, along with a fellow Martian Marine, took over the Rocinante. And because they were like, you guys are the people who stole our shit, or stole the ship, fuck you. So he's that guy. And in that, he was also that, surly, smart mouth type character. So it was great to see one of those faces again. We're following through on the war against the Hullen, and Turin knows things, Dutch knows things, Johnny knows things. We start this episode with them raiding a Hullen base, and there's only one left, and he refuses to go with them. And
bomb on the back of the neck.
Instant brain death. And the episode is about trying to go to different Hullen locations, capture some Hullens, so that way you can poison them and poison their green
pools. They need
pools.
more of the toxin. They need to destroy, the pools, because that's kind of the message that they get from the guy that explodes himself.
And Johnny's also been tracking where some of these other pools could be located.
Yeah, because they've discovered that the rack stations around the J are all located near a pool of plasma.
Not all of the Hullen in the quad were made from Arkin, which is something that we already discussed in the finale a bit, but it just is further hammered home in this episode, where we're having to see Team Awesome Force go into the deep, dark crevices of the quad that we haven't seen before, and they lift up things, and there's just Hullen waiting there with no remorse and just loathe the main characters, and they're still pretending like, oh, we're normal people, it's fine.
Yeah. What are you talking about? That's part of why I loved the bait and switch of this episode. Because it felt right. I wasn't expecting it. It worked on me. But also, that's the smartest play. Draw them in. Because it's just they need the Hullen to create the toxin. And then having that confrontation with a member of the Hullen that doesn't have a connection to Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
Because our previous face of the Hullen was Klein.
And Fancy.
And Fancy.
And now they're gone. Now we have to deal with unknown agents, people who aren't connected to Klein either.
So her being like, we're humanity's replacement and being so obviously villainous.
This is the true Hullen. The other ones that we saw, level 6s, and many of those were offshoots of Klein. And Klein didn't believe in the Hullen / Anila objective. So now that that's off the table, what do the Hullen believe in? And as you said, we have this one lady who's a representation of them in this episode, and her stance is, we're not here to destroy you. We're not here to be better than you. We're here to replace you. We're the next best thing.
Mm-hmm. You're done. Your last season.
We're more advanced. We're more superior. We are just better than you. It's, again, the classic superiority thing. There's a class system. This episode has a lot of discussions about classism, about this hierarchical structure that people are forced to be in, and the Hullen are just the most advanced level of that, where they look like us. They technically were us at one point, but now, no, they are not us. They're better than us. We need to get on their page. Like, when Dutch is explaining to Pippin the dangers of what could happen to us about the future if the Hullen took over, it was basically laying out that everything we know won't matter anymore.
And I'm finding it interesting because we're engaging with this show, and it's grappling with this impending threat. But this impending threat is like the removal of individuality, of like things mattering almost. And we're engaging with this. You're rewatching this, digging into the themes of that while we're also watching Pluribus as it comes out. And how these two shows...
I'm going to throw in a third thing. We've also been finishing off the Expanse books.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of threat of the collective.
Yes. But because we're engaging with all of these things, and they're coming at similar ideas and sort of concerns of humanity in different ways, but the fact that all of them are having a conversation with this idea and we're engaging with them at the same time makes each of them more interesting to me.
That Hullen that was interrogating them, also returning from the Expanse. She was the Martian admiral from the third season, who then came back in season 6 to act like a dumbass in season 6 of The Expanse. But it is that same actress. I immediately recognized her. I was like, oh, it's that one. Neat. She was an interesting character.
Well, as long as we're dropping epic truths, here's one. Hullen aren't monsters, sweetheart. We're humanity's replacements. Oh, you misunderstood. You are not the monster. I am.
How did you feel about how season 3 instantly was grabbing these side characters, Turin and Pre and Alvis and Fancy, and having them be in the main story plot? Like, they're on the job. Like, Pre is running. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't run.
I really appreciated that because we've been building out this cast, and I like the idea that they're bringing them in closer, because I think they're going to have to continue to expand their sort of... They're going to have to expand who's really a part of Team Awesome Force if they are going to be able to win the war. Dutch says in this episode, I'm going to need an army.
I know that we reference Star Trek Discovery a fair amount. I mean, it's the name of the podcast. It inspired us to podcast. But it's such a great tentpole of a show to point at and say, this is how you do this the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Because that show would not do this. It would introduce characters. It would have these little side players, and you would think, oh, surely it will join up and they'll become a part of the overarching narrative, or they'll help solve the day, or surely Gray and Adira will matter, and surely this, and it just never would fully, come to the surface. Maybe once in a while. Killjoys is not like that. Look, if Pre was just still that character who they go to the bar and he has some quips and gives some word of insight, we would still be happy, but they're going to that extra mile. They're making these characters contribute to the themes, the messages, and the story itself. And so there is a bit of a surreal nature of seeing Fancy Lee, Alvis, and Pre standing next to each other in an action scene. It is surreal, but at the same time, I like it. I want it. It's not out of nowhere.
No, it belongs in the show, but it is also a happy surprise. I thought last season we were going to have a missing Jacoby brother for a good part of the season. And then I was just like, oh, we're gonna have this. And it's not that he's missing. He's disconnected from Dutch, but they're still in contact. I thought he was gonna fully just
run away.
Yeah.
That's how the opening plays it as well, when they're at the rack and Johnny's missing, and they talk about it sucks that he's missing, but Johnny is still doing the job, but he is no longer in the team.
Yeah, it does feel like he's quit being a Killjoy.
He can't be a part of their team. He's got too much blood on his hands. He can't go back. But that doesn't mean he's abdicating responsibility. He knows that things need to be done, and I love that. He can't just walk back onto the ship and everything's going to be okay. It's awesome. This episode ends and Johnny's still somewhere else hanging out with a bunch of hack mods, and he's doing his own plot. Although I love to see him interact with the other two, it's refreshing, it's neat, it's a good thing to have the change of status quo.
It's diversifying the show, because that is important to do when you are in the third season of a show. You want to switch up dynamics. And it's an interesting way to test the strength of Dutch and Johnny's relationship, because there has been a test each season. The first one being Davin's integration into the crew. The second being Johnny's
relationship with Potter.
Mm-hmm. And now we have this distance and this difference in goals.
It is really telling that is the interest of the show itself, rather than Johnny and Davin.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny and Davin obviously have an important relationship, but the show is...
Non-sexual life partners.
Don't just say that after I say Johnny and Davin. It makes it sound like they're, of course they're non-sexual life partners.
Yeah, no, but Johnny and Dutch.
I know, but your brain was on that while my words were saying other things.
Yes, you were moving on and I wasn't ready, sorry.
But no, that line is great because it wasn't just that. It was boss, wifey, non-sexual life partner. Yep, that's Dutch. She's all of those for him, really. But what I was actually trying to say is the show could have just been more about Davin and Johnny, the brother relationship. But we've seen that. We've seen that. And not to say that isn't a part of the show, but what's more is the Johnny and Dutch relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you take Johnny away, what does it look like for both of them? And they're competent. They function. They can do what they need to do, but there is a emptiness to them.
Yeah.
Well, how about you tell us, what is Johnny up to, though?
Johnny ran off with Clara, so we are led to believe that he's with Clara.
Mm-hmm.
But no. She's lost. So he's looking for her, and this new woman has Alice, Clara's arm. And something that I really appreciated about this episode was how they handled not telling us her name.
Mm-hmm. He didn't even ask until much later.
Yeah, until like they're doing their dark talk.
That was cute. They're very cute, these two. They have a great they have a great banter between them.
And I really like how of this world Ollie feels. It feels like she's a person that has been broken by the quad and by her circumstances and wants to be able to do something but doesn't feel like she can do anything on her own. It's like, well, it needs to be done. I can help. I'm going to help.
She feels the desire, the pull to become more, human, to have her rights, but she's so beat down that she does look at herself as a tool, as a way of getting things to where they need to be. And it is a great push and pull for a character, one that we still don't know very much about, but we know the internal workings of. And to have a scene where Johnny and her are sitting in their little hammock beds late at night, and they just start to open up to one another. Even just the idea of, hey, you can opening up to a stranger is easier than anyone else, and it's like,
and a stranger in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
That does have a specific feeling to it. And I think anybody who's had like late night, deep and meaningful conversations at a sleepover or like at the tail end of a party where everybody's like fallen asleep except for a couple of you.
Or when you're camping and it definitely has evoked that feeling. And it successfully does it. I liked learning more about the hack mods. It's a background part of the show, but now it's been
new class system of. Do you remember them?
There were owls. I remember that. Grips.
Yep.
I remember those. There. I can't remember.
There's a third category.
I can't remember what she was. She was. She's basically like a weapon, right?
Well, no, like they didn't really.
Oh no, she's like a fancy, like high end because she's got the arm specs.
Special order.
And Johnny even says, "Wow, there's even a class system in the hack mods."
The ones with the legs.
I thought they were the grips.
No, that's the hand.
The hand.
Jumpers,
of course, jumpers. But there's even a class system in the cyborgs. Rachel.
And that they hate basics.
Well, that was already clear. They don't like us basics.
But the fact that
there's a bigotry?
There's a duality in the identity of the hack mods because they see themselves as better than basics, but they also know that they are worse off than the basics.
They're treated as lesser than, even though on some level they're better than.
After this, you're an honorary hack mod. You could pick something less ouchy.
Hey, it's my body, it's my choice, right? Besides, not every day a young man gets to live out his cyborg dreams.
I like seeing Johnny on his own. I know he's teamed up with somebody, but like, what does Johnny look like when he isn't in his safe environment, when he isn't an official Killjoy? And how would you describe it? Because this is really the first time we're getting to see him after Potter's death. Like, this is him reeling from that and reeling from everything that he's lost. And how did he come across to you?
He came across as broken down, but not broken. but he's barely keeping his pieces together.
It's a coping mechanism.
I think
I have to do something. I have to find Clara. If I
Yes.
don't, then another person's left me.
And I think it's very important that he uses that language of left me. Not lost, not died, left me. Because it also makes me wonder about how he's feeling about Dutch. Because Dutch has also left her role as a killjoy in a way. She's using that as a tool the same way that she always has, right? But they're not a team just doing warrants anymore.
When we start the episode, the rack is being investigated internally, and Dutch is so flippant about it. There's an attitude of, I don't have to care about this because I'm doing real work, which is fighting aliens. But you can't say that because the rack isn't supposed to know about that except for Turin. So there is, even then, as you're saying, there is, as being stated, a level of Dutch and Davin are killjoys in name.
Yeah, but they are definitely not keeping to the oath that they all swore.
Johnny has always suffered from abandonment issues. This was very much the case between him and Davin.
That confrontation in the ring set all of that up very clearly.
And now he feels responsible for people leaving him. If I didn't do this, they wouldn't have had to have exited my life. And Clara is just the newest form of that, and he feels indebted to her. He says that, I owe her a debt for all of these reasons, and this is one of them. And Johnny on his own, he's still a silly guy. He doesn't have anyone to pull him back on that. That's something too, like, he's a little bit more reckless. He's a little bit more sloppy at what he does. And you could chalk that up to where he is mentally, but I also think it's because he doesn't really have anyone to coordinate with, to work with. He is someone that needs to be a part of a team.
He's so used to it as well. Like, he's been with Dutch for a long time, and they have become such a good team that I think he has taken it for granted a little bit, because it's just something that is so present. It's just like you don't notice the air around you.
We have introduced lore about the hack mods. There's this community that they live in that is still like with basics and whatnot around, but like this is more of a safe haven for them to be in. And something's going on. There's something vile, something dark is happening here. Hack mods are disappearing. There are these weird new hack mod people that are infused with the plasma and have faces underneath faces. There's a corruption happening here. And this place is, on the outskirts of things as well. And one of the big things that we know of the show is the enemy is coming, and obviously they're coming from outside to inside as well. And I like that in this story, it is obvious, but it's not explicit that where are all these hack mods going? What's taking them over? Is it the Holland, perhaps?
Ooh, I like that Johnny immediately gets to use his finger banger for something useful.
That effect was really gross.
Really
it was cool though. It was practical when he just starts ripping open this guy's face and there's some other face underneath there and there's all this blood and goo. It was just so cool.
More goo than blood.
Yeah, but it was both. There was still a little bit, but it was more goo. But there was some blood, but it was goo.
It makes me wonder if this is their way of using people who have failed to fully become sixes.
Johnny has to be modded up because he's found to be a basic in a mods-only bar.
Yeah.
And the compromise, the negotiation is, well, make him a hack mod.
Yeah.
And I like that he's both horrified and extremely excited by this.
It's just like, you basically just an honorary member. Just shut up. And then he gets so excited. And I love the way that it's treated like a tattoo parlor. And the way that he's just like, it feels like, yeah, you're so sweet. You think you're so tough and so tatted up with your like in little infinity symbol, and the other people are there just being like, he doesn't really know, does he?
He doesn't.
Does he get that? It kind of counts enough, but like there's levels to this, and he's not fully in the group yet.
I don't know if I have much else to say other than, like, we have some setup stuff. Yuki is someone that knows about Clara but isn't telling.
No, so it's like, what's she hiding? I'm wondering how much of the circumstances she knows, and how much is she knows something's up and she knows that she needs to be scared.
And the episode ends with Turin revealing that on Arkin they found a fleet of cloaked Hullen ships. And Davin decides by himself, because he's super smart, that because...
He just gets in one and it's like, have you told anybody, buddy?
And then it cloaks.
And you fly off.
I assume it's flying off. It cloaks at least. And that's that. Like, good job, Davin. You know, like, it makes sense. Like, he has the green goo powers, so he can do stuff. But it is, buddy, be there with other people. If you have a hunch that you can open one of these,
don't do it alone.
But the way it's played is he does it alone.
By now,
he is his defense.
sometimes you got to learn a lesson a couple more times. But come on,
Here is his defense. He is Davin. He's a little bit of a Dumbo. When I say a little bit, he's a big Dumbo. He's a himbo Dumbo. I enjoyed this episode. On our rating system, I would give it a yum yum, which is good.
Yum yum.
I would also give it a yum yum.
Yum yum.
Next time on Killjoys, we will be watching Season 3, Episode 2, Rachel, and we have another fun title ahead of us. We are going to be talking about a Skinner Darkly. Any thoughts on what could be happening next time on Killjoys?
So as a skinner, like a person who skins animals darkly.
Mm-hmm. Like a Scanner Darkly. That's what they're playing on, the title. So a Skinner Darkly. What do you think will be happening next time on Killjoys?
I wonder. I think we're going to get more in Rat City. That was our new location this episode, and I think they're going to play more in that sandbox. I think we are going to be dealing with the fleet ships.
Mm-hmm.
And I am wondering if there's going to be some problem with the toxin that they made.
Because I got a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on Clara? What's happening?
I don't think we'll catch up with her next episode. I think that'll be episode 3.
Okay. But any thoughts on what's happening with her?
Not particularly. I think it's going to be intersecting with the Hullen somehow, but I am not sure yet.
Why was Ollie chosen for the arm? That's something that they talk about too. There was an interesting detail of when you took the arm off of her, it like drained her. Like she got real weak without the arm. So that was something and even she reacted surprised to that. So yeah, I was just curious because that was back and forth between her and Johnny of like, why you? And she's like, I don't know.
I just woke up with it.
I just woke up with it. And that is our discussion of Killjoys. Thank you all so much for listening. If you want to get our episodes early as well as see our reactions fully unedited, head on over to Yum Yum Podcast on Patreon, as well as get a back catalogue of so much material. We've talked about so many things over the years, and you can join our community Discord. But other than that, Rachel, where else can people find the podcast and how else can people talk to us?
They can find us on the various social medias, yumyumpod or yumyumpodcast. They can email us at yumyumpod@gmail.com.
I have a question for you to end this on. Did you like Turin's new haircut, or do you miss his luscious locks?
I'm fine with it. Like, I'm fine, I guess. Like, I really didn't think about it until Davin joked about it.
It was the first thing I noticed, because I remember last season was the first thing we noticed was he had really long hair now, and it was like very
now,
luscious, and now it's like short.
Yeah, like
It's still long, but short.
Yeah, it's shorter, which is why I'm just like, yeah, it's still.
And let me just emphasize, for a guy, he had he had fairly long hair last season, and so when I say it's short, but still long. But for like a guy who had hair that long to cut it, it's short.
As a guy who used to have long hair,
let me tell you, what he had and what he's cut it to, that's pretty drastic stuff. Pretty drastic. I'm not saying it's because the actor had other work to do. I'm actually curious as to why his hair was so long in season 2. If that's just his preference, or did he have another role, or did the Killjoys people say, we need you to
just grow it out.
We need you to have long hair. Sure, it's only been like a week since your character has been seen, but who cares? We won't explain how you survived not only being stabbed by a client, but what you guys talked about